Hey, and welcome back to Kairos Plays. It seems the stars have aligned for me today, and I am alone in my house for at least a couple of hours, which is going to be longer than I've had to play games since I started this series. So I plan to get some much-needed game time therapy in. That's kind of how I'm seeing this channel is a reminder for me to get my chances to clear my mind and get an escape from life like I have with games since I was a kid, I think, and just being a little more mindful of it. And before I take on the castle, I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and I think I want to go take out the Painted World and pick up the Great Magic Weapon that I forgot to pick up last time. So this is going to be a little warm-up video, and I may have to take a detour with my commentary as well. So I apologize if it gets weird or a little more negative than I planned on this channel. I've tried to take my tried to get my mind right since I've been home from work today. Had a nice little glass of scotch and did what I've been doing on this channel since I started it, and that was meditate every time before I play. I'm trying to incorporate this channel into my life in a way that is a net positive, both for me and my family. Trying to both enjoy games even more than I already do, but also find ways to find little reminders of other things that I want to be doing, like meditating and practicing mindfulness. So anyway, I sat down to meditate before I played, and I found it very, very difficult. I was fidgety both in my mind and body, and usually when I'm like that, I know that I need to talk. So I think I'm just going to allow myself to kind of go stream of consciousness for a little bit while I go through the Painted World. So I'll start with the most localized, petty stuff, and then I'll just go from there. I have the same kind of frustrations that anyone who has a job does with work. I have more on my plate than I know what to do with some days, and I have leadership that makes questionable decisions while knowing little to nothing about my job. And I have all the same. I have the red tape that I have to go through that makes my job more difficult than it should be. In comparison to a lot of people, my work problems are absolutely tiny, but they're there. And then I have just kind of the natural exhaustion of being a parent that anyone who's a parent, or even if you have dogs that you take care of, if you have anybody, if you've ever taken care of anybody, been a caretaker for someone else, that's draining, because you have to be on your game. If you want to be good, if you want to be a good parent, you have to be on your game even when you don't feel like it. You can't neglect your kid because you're tired. That's the difference, I guess, in a good and a bad parent. Is to put your kid before yourself, and so there's a level of exhaustion that comes there, and then I guess there's an added layer or added level of, I guess I would say, darkness or heaviness that comes with being a foster parent. There's kind of a constant presence, or the harsh reality of the worst of life. That was beautiful. I think I needed a little interruption there to not go too deep into the pits. But yeah, I mean, there really is like a constant reminder of some of the worst things in life. the placement, the case we currently have, is the first time we've had to deal directly with abuse and abuse in the most heinous nature, I guess you could say, or most evil way that you could imagine. And it's a thing that even if you're not dealing with it in the here and now, it's just kind of always floating over you. And then we have all the past cases that we've dealt with and that we're still dealing with, and it's just kind of a cloud that that seems like it will probably be hanging over us as long as we do foster care. And then if I zoom out from there, my kind of more existential thoughts and dread come into play. I mean, just this week, people have literally tried to cling onto the airplane, the wings of an airplane, to escape a country, and it's just insane. I mean, I can't fathom being in a place, being in a situation so oppressive and so fearful that I'd be willing to attempt to hang on to an airplane as it takes off. I mean, if that doesn't put my little privileged, luxurious life, I mean, I'm not wealthy by any means, but if that can't make me see how good I have it, then nothing will, you know. So that was kind of heavy. There's also just a general sense of kind of destabilization in the world that I know I'm not the only one feeling, and I'm too dumb to know anything about the weather, but it does seem like things are just getting crazy. It seems like both in a human psychology, like social way, and then just the earth itself. I can't, get over this feeling of like things are not headed in a good direction. There was an earthquake in Haiti this week, and the death toll it keeps rising. My wife's been to Haiti. She worked for a couple of weeks at an orphanage there, and so she has some ties there, or at least some sentimental memories and connections. I mean, she does know people that live there, so that's kind of been heavy on her, and that's on top of, I mean, geez, I'm not going to put my dirty laundry out on or my family's dirty laundry out, but I'll say I was in a place you do not want to be for several hours this week, because of the decisions of a family member, and actually my wife is dealing with that now. That's the reason that I'm alone tonight, is she's having to deal with some pretty serious family drama. So that's been even the Haiti thing has been kind of hard on her, and then of course just COVID, and we were thinking about getting pregnant sometime in the near future, and we've been putting it off for years, basically ever since we started the foster care thing, which was like 4 years ago. And now with COVID, that just seems irresponsible. And again, now I've come back to my own little corner of the world, my little petty, selfish things. I think a lot of my mental distress comes from more of the existential, more of the things out there. I guess I find myself feeling like I just do not like how this universe is set up, and how this life works, and how it is, and how I'll come to my point, because I feel like I've rambled enough and probably need to fight this guy, but I don't want to start because I know it's going to be really loud and I don't want to try to talk over it. But here's what I'm trying to do. Here's what I'm working on in myself right now. and this is where my game therapy comes in. I'm trying to let both things exist. I've always fought the negative feelings, the depression, the anger. I'm trying to allow both things to exist. I'm trying to say it's okay. It's okay to be really bummed out because there's very real suffering going on in the world. It's okay to be aware of that, not turn a blind eye to it. It's okay to be fucking angry at the fact that kids are born against their will, innocent, into the world to parents who, for whatever reason, have become monsters and that will go on to violate and abuse those kids that they brought into the world. I don't understand that, and I'll never not be able to feel anger that that it just exists, and it exists in abundance. And I want to be angry at that, and I want to feel those feelings, but I want to decouple them or compartmentalize them, and I want them to influence my behavior. I want them to. I don't want to be a person who stays silent or wraps my own little life in a bubble and tries to be successful and happy. I want to take those feelings that have even the existential stuff that I can't control, like I don't know why we're here, and I don't know who made us, and I don't know anything. For a lot of my life I did, but now I have this kind of hole where I just almost nothing seems, truth just seems very slippery. So I'm trying to allow those things to exist, allow them to shape me for the better, to know what I don't want to be, and to know what I want to protect anyone who I can from. But at the same time, and here's the shift, here's the perspective, here's the kairos moment, that fleeting moment that you've got to catch when it comes by. At the same time, the reality of the present, the here and now, is that I am sitting in a nice enough house. It's a house. It's a shelter. I have power. I have warm water. I have fast internet. I have a PC sitting in front of me. That's one of my favorite things in the world, that I had both the financial means and at least the intellectual capacity to order it and put it together, and it gives me great joy. And I have 2 or 3 hours of freedom where I can do whatever I want to do, and that's fucking amazing. And I'm trying to really take that in a serious way, not in a superficial way, but in a way that brings me to the edge of tears, like I am right now, because I am weighed down by the suffering both around me and in the larger world. But I am fortunate. I am extremely fortunate to be exactly where I am, to have the family I have, to have the friends I have. I mean, I was really excited about being alone, but man, I love my wife and the kids that we've had in this house more than I know how to express. And then right behind that, I love my friends, and then my mom and dad, and then that family. And then probably behind that would be, I love my free time. I love knowing that for just a little while that I have no obligations. It's just me. Some of the weight just automatically lifts in those moments. But I did not expect to go this long. I don't even know if I'll upload this, to be honest with you. But like I said, I don't know. I felt it when I was meditating. I knew I needed to unload some of the same old stuff that I'm always trying to unload. I go to therapy every month. I super if I do upload this, I recommend everyone, if you can, if you have the means, check with your insurance. Do go to therapy. Everybody needs to. We've all got. I don't know how many people relate to anything that I've got to say, but everybody's got their issues, and we can all be better. We can all think more clearly, and I really just I want to be better, both for myself, for my family, and for my friends. I don't want to be a person that's kind of wrapped up in my own thoughts in my own head and petty. I want to be present. And again, to bring it back, I'm starting with video games. If I can't be present for this right here, then how can I possibly be present for anything else? So this is my game therapy. And now let's do this. Let's kill a big vomiting dragon now. After all that, I'm I'm gonna have a good time with it. Let's try it again. That took far longer than I anticipated. Now I have a dagger to get, to add to my collection. kind of tough to go back to just like normal game commentary after all that. So that's kind of why I wanted to knock this out. I knew I was gonna be getting into some weird places if I started down that rabbit hole. So next video, Castle ONS. It'll be more fun times, I promise.
I expected as much from thee. Why dost thee hurry toward thine death?
This is kind of unnecessary, but I really enjoy it because it's kind of hard to aim these knives, but if you stick them in her, she's no longer invisible. So, and also they do poise damage, so if you get enough, yep, knocks her out. I have to get the towel though. If I kill her before I get the tail, which I don't know, there's gonna be much danger in that. There we go. Okay. Yep, there we go. So yeah, I believe that Priscilla's dagger, once it procs bleed, it takes off more health than the other bleed weapons. Let me check this. Yeah, so the bandage knife has 300 bleed and it has 500, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, that affects how much damage is done once bleed procs and not the build up. I don't know what affects the build up, but I do know that if the hit that procs bleed is with Priscilla's dagger, it does the most bleed damage in the game. So I think I'm going to use it as my offhand. Actually, does it have a parry? If it has a parry, that would be awesome. Oh, it does. Okay, so this is definitely my new offhand, because anything that can be bled, if I start it with the bandit's dagger and then finish the bleed with Priscilla's, it should do more. I want to see the move set though in the right hand. Normal slashes. We got some pretty twirlies on the strong attack. Slashes on the light. Oh, that is just too dainty. Keep that on the offhand. I dig it. I like it. Alright. Let's do gonna have to run back to the castle, so I may actually stop the video here so you don't have to watch me run all the way back. But if I do upload this, thanks for going on the ride with me, and like I said, we'll get back to nothing but fun times after this. So I love everybody.